Hello, everybody. Welcome back. This is the Luck We Had, a Shameless Recap podcast. We are in it now.
We are back, guys, and we're on season... Actually, we didn't introduce yourselves.
Hi, my name's Amanda. I'm one of your hosts.
Hi, I'm Evan. I'm one of your other hosts.
And I'm Lena, and I'm back with a vengeance.
And we are back for season 5.
Hey, you know what? This might get posted in June. I don't know. I don't know how long
knows?
of a break we're gonna take. Someone,
happy Pride, everyone.
Happy Pride!
Someone tweeted me the other day that was like, when is the Luck We Had coming back? I was like, bestie, I don't
Good
know.
question. As of now, today is Monday, May 2nd, the day that we are recording this. How has everyone's May 2nd been today?
I've been reading this Destiel fic that is making me lose my entire fucking mind because I've been in a Destiel headspace for an entire week after meeting Misha Collins in the cast trench coat.
Amanda, a week? More like the last 5 months.
I had the wildest last 3 or 4 days ever. I was in Canada yesterday.
I saw. I was
what?
Like, okay,
and I'm
Quebec.
in Ohio today. Yeah, me and my roommates went to Canada Saturday morning and returned back to Michigan Sunday morning, and then I moved back home for the summer, so I'm back in Ohio now. But I have done.
Damn, you have made. I want to see like your like.
I worked a 9 to 5 today as well.
Damn.
Yeah. Well, okay. To be fair, Windsor is only about an hour away from where we live in Ann Arbor for school.
You need a passport, right?
I do have a passport. Well, and I had to actually get my passport renewed because it expired last year, but I did get my passport renewed. They freaking grilled us going into Canada. They freaking grilled us. Coming out of Canada, it was like basically nothing.
Grilled you for what? Just like going into Canada?
Yeah, lots of questions, lots of follow-up questions. They wanted like specific answers to because they were like, where are you staying? They asked how long we were staying. We said a night, and like why we were there. We said celebrating a birthday. And they were like, well, where are you staying? And we said an Airbnb. And then they said, which one? And I was like, which one? It's like a house. It's like someone's house.
That's so weird.
But yeah, I had to give them the address of the Airbnb we stayed at.
That's so weird.
That's really weird. I'm surprised they had to give like all of your information.
Yeah, they also asked like 5 follow-up questions. They asked if we had any guns in the car.
I feel like they always have to do that.
Which, for the record, we didn't. And then they kept asking follow. They were like, so you don't carry any guns at all, even like outside of this car? Like you don't own a gun at all? You've never carried a gun? I was like,
wrapped up.
Right? I was like, no, fucking look at me. I don't carry a gun.
What a weird line of questioning.
Yeah.
That's really weird.
I'm like,
I've always wanted to go to Canada, but that makes me nervous as hell. Because I'm just a suspicious looking person. I feel like I'd get grilled for nothing.
It was fine, but we were just like, what are you talking about? We're just like a bunch of 20-year-old kids. Like, no.
Yeah.
That's so weird.
Oh my god. I can't believe your semester's over already. That's crazy.
Yeah, Michigan ends super early. My spring break was in February.
Oh yeah.
Jesus.
Damn.
Yeah.
But yeah, this might come out in June just to give us time because I am definitely going to record my Mickey episode and drop it before we drop episode 1 of season 5. So
it's gonna be so good.
Yeah, we need to get it out there, and it's gonna be out there. But now it's season 5. Now it's season 5, y'all.
Honestly,
we fucking made it over the hump. We made it over Emily, and now we're here.
I could probably say season 5, maybe like season 4 is maybe like up there with it, but season 5 is probably my most rewatched season out of all of Shameless.
It's
Milk of the Gods.
Really
this episode,
season.
Honestly, I have rewatched this episode countless of times just because it's like good. It's so good. Besides like 1 or 2 parts that I dislike.
I feel like this season does a really good job of balancing comedy and drama.
Yeah.
Season 4 was definitely majority drama.
We're definitely getting into a season that I have rewatched the least. Like, I've rewatched Ian and Mickey's scenes, but I rewatched all of this before season 6 started, and then I never touched it again. So I've rewatched season 5 the least out of any other season.
I think you're going to be very impressed.
I agree.
Yeah, so like I've seen it once before, but like not in a very long time.
Okay, sir.
Yeah.
I'm
Let's
excited.
go.
Yeah. And so Lena did the notes this week.
I got silly
Lena,
with them.
did you want to lead the discussion? Do you want me to lead the discussion on your notes? Do we want Evan to do it? What do we want to do?
I can do it if you want me to.
I kind of was hoping to this time, but
Okay,
Evan,
no, knock it out.
No, Lena,
Evan,
you go.
I
You do it.
seriously think you should next time.
I will. I'll do it next
Like,
week.
I wanna lock that in.
All right, I'm locking it in.
Okay, locked it in. Evan's leading next time. Do you want to do? I mean, you can do like.
Let's get these credentials out of the way.
Yeah.
This is season 5, episode 1, Milk of the Gods. It's a good title too.
Mm-hmm.
It aired on New Year, New Shameless. It aired on January 11, 2015. Written by Nancy Pimentel. We know this bitch. This is the 8th of 27 episodes this woman has written on. She's read on every seasons. It's too many episodes, including the Hall of Shames.
Literally the GOAT.
Yeah. This episode was directed by Christopher Chulak. This is his second of 11 Shameless directing credits. The first was 410, Live Where I Hardly Know Her. This one. Then he does Carl's for Sentencing, which is 509. Love Songs in the Key of Gallagher. I hate, oh God, the hatred I have for that episode. It's well directed. I just hate it a lot. 601, I Only Miss Her When I'm Breathing. 604, Going Once, Going Twice. 612, Familia Supra Gallagherius Omnia. 701, Heareth. 705, Own Your Shit. 709, Ouroboros. And 1112, Father Frank Full of Grace.
God damn. They said hello. They disappeared.
Well, he had such a huge gap, but then it was like they brought him back to direct the finale because John Wells wouldn't.
Yeah.
Sick and twisted.
He was also an executive producer on seasons 5 through 7, and his other credits include Animal Kingdom, which is very good and apparently coming back, even though it literally hasn't had a new season in like 3 years.
Oh.
Longmire, ER, a lot of others. This is a busy man. He's booked and busy.
Okay.
Animal Kingdom is really good and has a really good queer couple on it, but it literally hasn't had a new episode in like 3 full years.
I feel like I've definitely asked, what even is that show about?
It's a family that does crimes.
Oh. So
yeah,
Shameless.
but it's by the beach and it's sexy.
They're
Oh,
like serving the riches. Oh, well, but the riches,
little bit,
the riches
a little
is
bit.
in the South and less sexy. Minnie Driver is very sexy though.
I think Emmy has directed an episode of Animal Kingdom. Like, it's good. It's so inconsistent.
Randomly speaking of Emmy, did you see that weird show that she just like all of a sudden was like, "Hey guys, I'm in this."
Are you talking about Angeline?
Yeah.
Yeah, she shot that long ago.
I was just gonna ask. I was like, when do you guys think that's coming out? Because I am fucking fascinated.
Yeah.
It's coming out on Peacock like soon, I think.
Soon.
Yeah, well, because Angeline is just like an LA cryptid. I
Yeah.
mean, she's real and she's around.
Like she's still alive.
around.
Like I found her Instagram and I was
Yeah,
like,
she's-
"Homegirl's still kicking it," but she looks crazy.
yeah, she's getting older.
Like Fiona, I mean, oh my god, Fiona, fucking Emmy looks like really good, like as that character. But I'm just like, this. They literally said she was like, "I've been waiting 4 years to share this with you," and I was like, "Girlfriend,
Yeah, no,
what?"
they shot it forever ago. Like honestly, years
They
ago.
shot it pre-pregnancy. Yeah, like they shot it
Yeah.
so long ago.
Yeah, but those prosthetics look really seamless. Like,
Oh yeah,
I couldn't tell.
no, neither could I. I was like, "That's her."
Yeah. All right.
Is that I feel like that's the only Shameless project that I am anticipating. I don't think anybody else has anything good or
No,
noteworthy.
I think
Nothing
you're
that I
correct.
know of. I think Chanel is working on a pilot actually.
Yeah.
But I'm not
Cam-
totally sure. Cam is in Rome right now. That's all I know. He's like chilling in Italy.
Yeah. Emma
he's not
is a
working on
20-year-old. Ethan's a 20-year-old. Ethan's hanging out with Tana Mojo. I don't know what's going on.
Oh God.
Yeah,
Not
no,
so
they're
much
like
anymore.
friends.
I do still follow Emma on TikTok, and so I see her videos sometimes. She's kind of silly with it.
Yeah, no,
but-
she like I love her. I hate her, but I love her.
Well, what I recently found out, and I hope I don't know if she'll talk more about this or anything like that, but she did reveal recently that when she was like a teenager, she got taken by one of those like troubled teen outdoor.
Oh, like the mountaintop thingies, like when they take you
Oh,
to the
shit.
wilderness.
basically like legal kidnapping. Yeah, she was taken to one of those programs, and she never disclosed how long she was there, but she
Yeah, because she
supported
filmed
someone
like
else.
every year of her life basically on Shameless. I wonder when she went to that.
She's been pretty open about having struggled with addiction in her
Mhm.
teenage years. She, I think, had like drug and alcohol dependencies and maybe some other issues. But so that
Hate
might
to
have
say
been,
it, but when you're growing up on a show like that, that's
or just in the industry in general, that's just
Yeah.
kind of what happens. But she reposted, or I guess like supported somebody else coming forward with their story. This other girl who wrote a book about her time in the troubled teen industry. And she basically was like, I never spoken about this publicly, but I did have to spend some time in one of those facilities, and it was not good.
That's insane. I did not see that on her story or anything.
It was on, I think it was on her like TikTok or Instagram, but I don't know if she'll talk more about it. That's obviously up to her, but it was just interesting to find out.
That's insane to hear.
Another child star whose story I'm like very excited to finally get to hear is I forget the girl's name, but Sam from Sam and Cat, Jeanette McCurdy. Oh my god,
I'm glad my mom
her
died.
Book, I'm glad my mom died. Oh
yeah, I've been seeing just clips of her on these podcasts just talking about some of her childhood, and I was like, this girl went through the ringer as a child star. Like she said she did not see any of her money from her child acting.
No, I heard that, like, because they're supposed to be like, it's like the Cooper account or something like that.
Yeah, it's they take 15
off the top, so put it into your account, save it till you're 18. Her mom took like all of the money.
And the account was never properly like secured, so the money just was going into her parents' bank account the entire time.
Right. And I mean, I knew a little bit about her story like before she started promoting this book and stuff, but
because she's been outly about it, like about having like a hard time in the industry in the last couple of years, but like this is her going into it.
And like the whole reason Sam and Cat got canceled is because somebody hacked her phone or her iCloud or whatever, when, leaked her pictures, and she got blamed for it, and they canceled Sam and Cat. Like insane. And
then she like spent some time in like some mental health programs, I think, and just definitely really interesting to hear about like a lot about how the industry affects child actors and how a lot of the time we tend to put the blame on the actors.
Yeah.
When it's fully on the parents.
It's always the adults. It's always the parents.
It's on the adults that are supposed to take care of them that don't, whether that's their parents or their producers or their managers. It's just But
speaking of fucked up kids, let's get into Shameless.
Yeah. So this is episode 501, Milk of the Gods. The synopsis is Fiona balances her day job and a crush on her boss. Lip leaves college and begins a job in demolition. Ian helps Svetlana. Veronica begins to work at the Alibi. Kevin acts as a stay-at-home father, and Frank unveils a secret project. I feel like this synopsis does not do this episode justice.
Sure doesn't.
Because a lot more goes on in here.
The top.
Yeah, that's like the where that's
Ian helps Svetlana.
Right. It's like that's kind of the where did we leave off? But the previously on was done by everyone in the kitchen with you want to know what happened last year on Shameless, and they're all talking over each other.
I came out.
He came out.
I did. But this season recap was very long, so I split it up by character instead of how it was like presented chronologically.
Yeah.
Last season on Shameless, Fiona left coke out and Liam got into it and overdosed. She was arrested. Tensions rose between her and Lip over her fault for the incident. Fiona pleads guilty to child endangerment, becomes a convicted felon, and then is on house arrest. She goes on a bender and violates probation, then goes back to jail. She's let out of jail. She attends NA and or AA as part of her probation and starts working at Patsy's Pies, a restaurant that employs mostly recovering addicts and felons. Frank, his liver was failing, but he's not ready to die, so Carl helps him track down his oldest daughter, Sammy. They're not a match for organ donation. Frank and Sheila get married while he's in a coma. Frank receives an emergency liver transplant, and Sheila and Sammy butt heads. Kevin V have their babies. That was literally the only Kevin V showed. Yeah. Debbie is eager to grow up and receive attention from boys. She tries to seduce an older guy, Maddie. He rejects her, but also definitely grooms her. Ian returns home from a stint in the army. Mickey and Ian rekindle their relationship, but disagree about Mickey staying in the closet, so Mickey comes out for Ian. Svetlana threatens Mickey to help take care of their son, Yevgeny. Ian won't get out of bed, and the family suggests that he might be bipolar. Mickey refuses to send him to the hospital. Lip struggles in college because he can't apply himself. He starts seeing Amanda, his roommate's ex-girlfriend, and she basically sugar mommies him.
So girl boss of her.
Love that.
Additionally, Jimmy Steve returns but doesn't make it known to anyone.
And the last end clip of season 4.
Fucking mic drop on that. So let's start with the episode. It's summertime in Chicago.
Let's do this. I love a summer season.
Yes. Ironic that they aired a summer season during the winter. It's like, I know winter's their airing season, but like, my God. it feels so out of the story. So we whisk over the city and are taken to Sheila's house. Sheila and Frank are waking up in the morning, and Frank seems to be pretty content with life in bed with her until he notices that they have a third in the bed with them. It's Chucky.
Chucky has so many lines in this episode.
He's kind of silly, though.
He truly has so many fucking lines.
It's Chucky, and he's wearing his I Heart Grandpa shirt. He crawled in the middle of the night after a bad dream. And he's in the house in the first place because Sammy came home with a date and kicked him out of the trailer. Frank promptly, like, pushes him off the bed. And he lands with, like, a thump.
It just, like, rolls off and plop. He goes, ow.
Like a sack of potatoes.
Yeah. Sheila tells Chucky to get ready for school and Frank to take his meds and record his vitals. Frank sits up with fully tented boxers and says he can't. He has a big project he's working on. So she tells him again to go take his meds and his vitals and then throws, like, the record notebook at him. So he gets up. In the city, a building is being demoed and there's a crowd gathered to watch. Debbie rides by on her bike, seeing Carl, who's now sporting a pair of crutches and a cast. He says that they're tearing the building down for asbestos.
Because Ethan went and broke his fucking leg first. Kev was the first one to break a leg, and then Carl.
She tells him that she's leaving, and Carl asks to get a ride home on the back of the bike, but she won't because she's running an errand, quote unquote, and then going right to school. Carl says he's not going to school, even though it's the last day, because he's on track to flunk the 6th grade again. And they have, like, a few very pointed lines about Carl's broken leg to just really cement the fact that they had to just write it in because Ethan actually broke his leg.
They say, like, Carl does it by, like, skateboarding. That's how.
Yeah, they're
like,
like, because you busted up your ankle on your stupid skateboard. Well, he's like, give me a ride. These crutches are killing my wrists. And it's like, okay.
Isn't that how Cam breaks his leg? Didn't Cam break his leg on a fucking skateboard?
Cam broke his leg playing soccer. Someone slide tackled into his shin.
Ooh.
So first...
It was a clean break,
Steve
too.
breaks his leg, then Ethan breaks his leg, then Cam breaks his leg.
I will
Fucking
never
idiots.
get over the fact that Cam broke his leg because they had to change Ian and Mickey's entire storyline after that.
Yeah.
Because there was supposed to be shit with the cartel.
Yeah. And then I love watching the scene where, like, Ian does end up, like, falling and breaking his leg. But if you watch every scene leading up to that, he's
like,
either
hobbling.
He's either sitting or standing still or leaning against something.
Oh, yeah, no. When he's, like, walking through the backyard, just hobbling.
Yeah.
Yeah, or they put him in those, like, red sweatpants that, like, cover his cast. But don't
He
do a
looked,
good
like,
job.
so out of place. I was like, Ian would not be wearing that
those
fucking
red
tracksuit.
pants, I'm like, he would not wear those. Anyway,
sorry.
So
Idiots
Debbie
breaking
leaves.
their fucking leg.
Yeah.
It's hard to break your leg. Like, ow.
Cam's was a legit clean break too. I saw that X-ray. It looked painful. So Debbie leaves, and this scene is kind of silly because Emma and Ethan seriously play, like, annoyed siblings perfectly, especially in this season because they're both kind of coming of age at this point. Back at the Gallagher house, Liam, Fiona, and Sean, whom we have yet to officially meet, by the way, are setting up the pool for the summer.
He's just there. He's just established and there, and we're just like, whomst the fuck is this guy?
Because if we remember last season, we met Jeffrey Dean Morgan, who will not make an appearance in the show ever again. So
Yeah.
Sean is the
I think
Jeffrey
he got the Walking
Dean.
Dead job after this.
Yeah,
but,
no, he definitely did.
he
That's
is.
exactly what happened.
But played by Dermot Mulroney, not to be confused with Dylan McDermott. Sean is meant to retcon JDM's character from the season 4 finale as the manager of Patsy's, and they do throw in a line about how he wasn't the one who hired her, but he can fire her, so they imply that he took over for JDM's character, Charlie.
I remember being so excited and then being so disappointed, being
Yeah.
like, who that? Who that?
Because also, he looked fine as hell.
I'm so glad that rewatching one of my favorite shows, I don't have to then see John fucking Winchester's face every
But Charlie looks so sexy, though. I'm sorry.
He looked really good.
He's a DILF, and I'm not going to deny it.
I was into it. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Lena.
So they finished putting the pool lining in, but left the ladder on the ground outside, so they're stuck in the pool. And they do a little, like, teasing with Liam. They're like, oh my god, Liam, we're stuck in here forever.
They're very cute. They
are
very
very
cute.
cute.
This is when we have a new Liam actor, too. This is
the
toddler.
twins.
This is, like, the twins and, like, the older Liam character now. Because he's not, like, a baby toddler. He's, like, 4.
The older twins, pre Christian Isaiah, but they did.
Yeah, I was
gonna
say this is definitely a different Liam, but it's not Christian.
Yeah, it's the twin boys that were like young Liam, and then when Christian showed up for season 8 or 9, right?
You know what though? I think these twin boys played Liam in season 4 as well.
Are you sure?
I'm pretty sure they did. I think they stuck around from seasons 4 through 7.
Right. Sorry, that's my brain just
4 through 7, maybe 4 through 8. I cannot remember when Christian Isaiah came. I think he came in season 8. I think it was season 8, but
sorry, I totally brain fart.
Yeah. Either way, Fiona looks lovely in her overalls. Although, to be fair to you, Evan, the twins that do play Liam in this season did grow up a lot between season 4 and 5, so they definitely look like it's like marginally older. But
they're not being carried everywhere, and they're actually walking on their own.
Exactly, and he has a line every once in a while. Fiona looks absolutely lovely in her overalls. I missed her so much. She flirts with Sean, who suffers from old man face. I'm really sorry for saying that.
Sure does.
Dermot Mulroney, but he unfortunately does. I think I looked up his age.
When the original option was Jeffrey Dean Morgan, it's a bit of a letdown.
Well, it's like, here's the thing. I looked up how old he was. I think he was 43 when he did Shameless, and Emmy was 30.
Oh my god,
which
when
obviously
he shows up in season 9, he looks fucked up.
Right, and it's like, obviously it's not the biggest age difference, it's not illegal, but it's like, it's enough to be like, this guy is old as fuck.
Yeah.
Like, in comparison to Fiona.
Yeah, when she's playing like a 24-year-old.
Yeah.
Right.
Because Sean's
like,
probably in his mid-30s.
Also, I mean, Sean is like an ex-drug addict, so it's like maybe the drugs aged him or whatever.
But also at the same time, that's just what Dylan McDermott looks like.
Right, because he is just old.
He's just a man.
But Sean tries to... although, for an old man, he keeps a tight bod. I've been listening...
at Misha Collins.
I have been listening to too much of the Workaholics podcast because I am fucking objectifying men left and right. Anyway.
all week with me and Misha Collins. All week.
So they go... Sean tries to show off by like vaulting himself out of the pool and he falls. Flop. They go to fill the pool by tapping the fire hydrant, and Sean is impressed with Fiona's ingenuity. They have a sweet little water fight with the hose, and Liam's like little boy screams are so funny.
He's so cute because Sean's like spraying Liam.
I love the way little boys scream because they fucking go for it. Like he's screaming for real. Sean leaves to go take his son to school, and he says he'll see her for dinner. She hates to see him go, but loves to watch him walk away.
Also, I have so much respect for this family because the fact that they are out doing this shit before probably 8 a.m., you will not catch me out of bed before I need to. They always do stuff so early before school.
Yeah, school hasn't started yet, so it's probably 7 a.m.
Yeah, like the amount of things these characters do like before school and stuff like that. I'm like, I wake up 10 minutes before I need to be there.
Right. But anyway, the implication here when he says like, I'll see you for dinner, and there's like no other details. The implication is that maybe they're dating, but we will find out more as the episode progresses. At college, students are partying in the dorm hall. Lip sits in his room annoyed with the noise, and Ron and his new girlfriend sit at the desk playing a game. I thought it was Minecraft. It's not Minecraft. It's like World of Warcraft or something.
He is playing. He does play Minecraft in a
He does play
though.
Minecraft, yeah, because he mentions it. He's like, I try not to play more than like 12 hours of Minecraft a day. He like says that to Carl.
And then there's a scene like I think it was like a couple episodes ago when Amanda's like, "Let's go," and he's like, "I'm finishing building my world on Minecraft," and she's like,
Yeah.
"Now."
This is the last time we see Ron, though. I think I'm pretty sure.
Thank you for your service.
Right,
sir.
he was the best.
So fun.
Amanda comes in and teases Lip over his trash bag suitcase. He's filling out an application to be an RA in the fall in order to get free room and board. Ron cracks a joke about it. I think he says he's like, oh, resident asshole, and
him and his girlfriend like are like, ha, and then they're like,
and then they just start making out, which is like cute.
It's like gross. No, it's like sloppy macking out.
I love the way Amanda says bye to him. She's like, "It's been real, Ron."
Right? She's like, "It's been great." Amanda offers for him to stay at her apartment off campus the next semester, and he declines, but in like a casual way. Like he's kind of just like, nah. Well, and so they leave to go catch her flight home. And there's a timeline check here. They've been together a little over 4 months because he's like, I don't want to live with you. And she's like, that's basically what we've been doing together over the past 4 months. And he's like, yeah, but you have your own dorm room. Mm-hmm. So if this is the end of May or beginning of June, this would put the end of season 4 somewhere around January.
Yeah, because it was
January,
they were all
February.
wearing jackets and stuff still.
Yeah, I mean, we
bundled
knew
up.
it was winter, but it was like when exactly? Because it can still get pretty cold in the spring. I mean,
if it's been 4 months since the events of Emily, since the end of last season, when Svetlana freshly had made a baby, she is now so fucking pregnant.
again.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that is just due to the fact that Isadora was pregnant for real.
Yeah.
And they were just like, let's write her in, and she's.
Well, it was like there's no way they can get around that. Like that sucks, but
That was
whatever.
That was at least 8 months pregos. Like she
Yeah.
was ready to pop.
She was very pregnant, or maybe she just showed very quickly. Either way, in the Milkovich house, a very pregnant Svetlana is making breakfast. They wrote the Svetlana surrogate storyline in because Isadora was actually pregnant, which we already mentioned. Congrats to her.
Queen.
Ian comes in with a shitty fan he found in the yard to put in the window, and Nika, who is Svetlana's girlfriend, is ironing her top with her tits out in the living room.
And so, like, Ian and Svetlana are, like, very buddy-buddy.
They're
Like, last time we
cohabitating.
saw them, they were still very, like, butting heads, and she was like, I will murder you in your sleep if you don't let him help with baby. And now they're just, like, Ian's helping take care of the family. She's gonna make the kind of eggs that he likes. They're very buddy-buddy.
I
Yeah.
feel like Ian always wanted to play house with Mickey and take care of the baby because he's such like he always wanted to be like a dad. The problem was that Mickey did not want to take care of Yevgeny, which is, there's nothing wrong with him feeling that way. It's just like, it's hard.
Yeah, I just love she asks, she's like, what kind of eggs? Scrambled? Or he's like, I like those fluffy ones you make. She's like, cool, we're baking eggs then. Like, their friendship is very cute.
It was so sweet.
Yeah, and she like sent him out to the yard to find a fan to put in the window. So some of Mickey's cousins watch Nika with her tits out, and Mickey comes in tying his tie. Ian says he looks very dapper. He doesn't actually say that, but he's like, look at you.
Look at you.
Svetlana hands Yev over to Mickey, asking him to change the diaper, and Ian kind of like steals him out of like the air because Mickey has to look sharp for his job today, which we'll find out more.
Yeah.
And he was like not covered in baby poop or something like
He's
that.
like, don't want him covered in baby shit for his first day at work.
And, like, let it be noted that when Svetlana was handing the baby to Mickey, Mickey was like, oh, is that what happened? Like, he was being very open about, like, yeah, give me the baby.
It was like, sweet.
I mean, they do seem genuinely in like a very comfortable place with their dynamic. Like,
Damn, so Atlanta
yeah.
be running through the thruples.
like they are seriously cohabitating, and it's not even a throuple. So Atlanta
No,
like, has a
it
girlfriend.
isn't. They're just co-parenting.
It just
Yeah,
looks like a healthy, lovely little household.
and somebody, I mean, we'll mention this in a second, but somebody baby-proofed the house. Mickey gives Ian a very fond look, and Ian Gallagher is like the most character ever. I miss him. I miss him every day. I think about him and I'm like, he's so a TV character, and I think about him every day. Svetlana gets ready to leave for her ultrasound with the surrogates. They think she's a kindergarten teacher.
She goes, raison bus go round and round.
Yeah, and they're like, Mickey goes, amazing what people with money will pay for. After the ultrasound, she'll go to the alibi to open the rub and tug, and Ian's job today is to look after Yev and go grocery shopping. So very domestic in this household.
So sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Svetlana tells Mickey that the local dry cleaner hit one of the girls yesterday during the service and left without paying, so Mickey says he'll take care of it later. And he calls his goons up to leave. I think it's Iggy and just like some random guy.
Yeah, it is Iggy, definitely.
Yeah, they go to grab guns, but Mickey has them put them back because they're, quote, respectable now, and he like shakes his tie to really prove it. But side note, like, who baby-proofed the house with the
Ian
gun
did
cabinet?
that.
Yeah, like probably
Ian
Ian
did
or
that.
Svetlana, right? Like maybe Svetlana, because she was like, I don't want fucking guns around baby.
And Ian's like, yes, ma'am.
And Ian's like, I will buy the locks today. Mickey confirms plans with Ian to meet up after the job. Ian gives him a kiss on the temple. Mickey gets soft. That's the end.
Oh
of the
yeah,
scene.
let it be noted that when Svetlana's leaving, she goes and gives Ian a little kiss on the cheek, and she gives Mickey a little kiss on the cheek. And then when Mickey goes to leave, Ian grabs him by the
tie.
necktie and gives him a little kiss on the cheek. Like, oh fuck.
On the temple.
And Mickey's like, oh, like, hey.
Yeah.
He was like, I'll see you later.
Yeah. Well, he's
Or,
like,
he was like, I'll better see you later.
he's like, I'll be there. Because he's reminding him to pick him up or whatever at a certain time. And he's like, I'll be there. And then Mickey's like, you better be.
They're so flirting. They are
It's
so
sweet. And then Ian's just like cradling Yevgeny so sweetly too.
Oh my god, his sweetness. His sweetness and his cuteness.
You're right. He is so character.
He is
the most character.
He's the most fictional character I've ever seen. But he's so real to me. Back at Sheila's house, Frank struggles to shit. And this show has no Emmys. Chucky bursts in and he has to pee really badly. No harm, no foul, because Frank is constipated as fuck anyway. We see a litany of pill bottles on the counter, which are Frank's liver meds. He starts dosing each one out as Chucky pees and explains what they are to him. And I'm not gonna lie, I know he needs the anti-rejection meds and all, but like taking all those pills can't be good for his liver, right? Like I'm not a doctor.
He was like antidepressant.
Your kidney is what processes most medications.
Okay, that's
like your
fair.
liver processes like toxins, but your kidneys process medications really. So like if you like give a kidney, you can't really take like Advil or Tylenol or anything.
Right, it's like not unnecessary because obviously he needs those pills to live, but it's like, so getting rid of his liver problems gives him kidney problems now.
Probably,
no, literally.
Yeah.
The human body's awesome. So Chucky continues pissing for an abhorrently long time, and this show has no Emmys.
This show has no Emmys.
Frank weighs himself. He's 147, but he marks down 155 because he's not supposed to be losing weight. Chucky is still peeing. He stops for a second and then starts right back up and gives Frank like the smuggest look I've ever seen a little boy.
It's so funny. It's so funny.
It's so fucking funny. That's why I'm like, I don't actually mind Chucky that much in this episode because I'm like, he is being silly. Like this is fun.
They just had to put him somewhere, and like where they did put him, it worked.
He's kind of just like a little creature in this episode.
Yeah. He is silly goofy in this episode. Like he really is.
Like he's literally just like a dog that they keep around.
He's a prop.
Yeah. He's such a prop. Anyway, Frank takes the rest of his vitals, and then we go to Kevin V's house where V is struggling to breastfeed. She's got one baby that won't latch and another that's crying. Carol is over with Dominic, and she tries to coach V by like milking her tit. And
I don't like it. She's like aggressively like gripping her boob, and I'm like, ah.
She's like, you gotta get the milk flowing.
And Shanola's tits are like exceptionally large too, because Shanola had just had a baby. So Shanola has post-baby tits.
I wonder if she like when she was like milking her tit, if she milked
did
a
she
little
milk
bit?
her?
Right? I'm like, does anybody else wonder?
We got to slow down the clip.
Anyway, Kev comes in and Carol leaves. So they brought Vanessa Bell Calloway all the way on set for this whole day for 30 seconds of screen time. We see her again later in this episode, but it's like, damn, they brought her all the way to set for this.
Mm-hmm.
Amy bites V's tit and she bops her on the head a little.
It's a little love tap.
It's literally fine. And Kev yells at her. He's like, V, it's just a nipple. Like, you don't need to hit her. And so she walks up and gives him a titty twister to show the pain and hands Amy off. And she tries breastfeeding with Gemma, who also bites. So V calls it on breastfeeding. She says it's time to put the girls on formula instead. And those babies are like the cutest ever.
They're
by
so
the way.
sweet.
They have the sweetest little faces. Anyway, Kev argues against formula. He goes, "We are not doing formula. They will grow up with asthma and be short and have no friends." And we know that Kev wants those Venus and Serena babies. He was like, they can't be short, they cannot have asthma, and they need to have friends so that they can play tennis and be the next Venus and Serena.
As a person who was a formula baby, I do have asthma and bad teeth, but I've got a couple of friends.
I was not a formula baby, but I do have bad teeth.
I was not a formula baby, but I also have extremely bad teeth.
My parents just thought I was a really good baby because I wouldn't cry that much. And it turns out I was too hungry and tired to cry because I wasn't getting enough nutrition from breastfeeding, so they switched me to formula.
They were like, "Oh my god, you're the most perfect baby ever."
I was dehydrated. I was too tired to cry.
They were like, this baby is not colicky at all. So, also we learn, and this is like a pretty big plot for at least Kev and the babies, is that Gemma hasn't pooped in 5 days, which for a baby, also for regular people, but for a baby especially, is very bad. Because don't babies go like twice a day?
Like
3
4 times a day. Literally, newborns poop like 10 times a day.
Right, like something ridiculous. V is frustrated with having to stay home with the babies while Kev goes to work, so she hands Gemma off to Kev too, and then like steps outside for some fresh air. So she trudges over to the Gallagher yard, where Liam and Fiona are stretching to go meet Ian and Yev for a run. Fiona invites V along, who rants about how she can't ever go on a run for the next 18 years because she won't have time and she'll feel too shitty. And Fiona asks her when the last time she had sex with Kev was.
Yeah, she's like, you need to get laid.
Right? She's like, come on. V shoots back that she's one to talk because she hasn't fucked Sean yet. So we've learned that they are not dating. And Fiona says she won't make the move after jail. She's like too scared to. So what's V's excuse? Fiona suggests that she go home, shower, get dolled up, and fuck Kev. And V reluctantly agrees. And I miss Fiona Gallagher every day.
Fine, I'll go home and fuck my husband.
And
she's like pouting.
Right? She's like, oh. She turns around, she trudges back to her house.
Fiona was very best friend in that moment. She's like, a little more enthusiasm, please.
Right? She's like, yeah, where's the excitement?
Doesn't she do like a little like movement at her as she leaves, like kind of like a get some kind of like?
Well, she walks
like
away,
thrust.
and Fiona goes, "Where's the enthusiasm?" or something like that, and V just puts her hands up.
Mm-hmm.
She's woohoo.
Oh no, it's when Fiona's saying "fuck your husband." She's like grinding on V.
Oh
being like,
yeah,
fuck your husband.
She is also the most character ever.
I miss her so much.
Runner, I love Runner Fiona. I love Runner Fiona.
Oh, that was great. I love that they kept that.
Oh, I forgot about that. They literally
they kept that as like a pretty defining character trait for her,
for
and
her.
I supported that. So at the airport, Lip and Amanda cover her car in the long-term parking garage. She offers the car to him for the summer, but Lip turns it down because it'll surely get broken into or stolen.
He was like, "Have you seen where I live?"
Right? And she uses this opportunity to like subtly call him out on his commitment issues. She's like, "Oh, so you won't live in an apartment with me, you won't drive my car over the summer, like blah blah blah." But then presents him with a gift. It's a really nice watch. She asks,
okay, what's up with women giving men watches? Like, kind of, that's the... Watching Succession, I was like, guys, stop buying everyone a watch. Get something
It's like
new.
the only jewelry that they think that a straight man will wear. Yeah.
Yeah.
I hate watches. If anyone buys me a watch, I'm gonna lose it.
But she asks if he's gonna date other people over the summer, and it's like somewhat implied that she's hoping they'll be exclusive. But it's also like, shouldn't you guys have talked about this already?
Yeah, it's been 4 months and she's leaving right now. How does this conversation not happen?
It's been 4 months. I feel like that's long enough where it's like, you're probably gonna stay together over the summer.
No, but
right?
I feel like Amanda looks at Lip and she's like, if I move too quickly, he will bolt like a scared bunny.
Right.
Like, she read him.
Like, she's like, she asks him, but she's kind of hoping-ish that he'll say they'll be exclusive, but she's fully prepared herself if he says that he will be dating other people. So his answer comes as no surprise to her. He says that he doesn't know, and so she's like, okay, I don't know if I will either. And so they come to absolutely no conclusion. And her car arrives to take her to the gate, and they say goodbye.
I love how she gets in a car to get... Like, I hate how bougie she is.
Like she gets in a car from the long-term parking garage
to drive her to the other side of the airport.
Right. But then I'm also like, okay, maybe this is just like some rando long-term parking garage with like security or something.
I had kind of assumed that they were in the parking garage at school.
Or maybe the car takes her out to the...
No, you might be right. You actually might be right.
She's so rich, though, she might have had a private car take her out to, like, the landing pad, like, strip or whatever, and just, like, to walk up. Because there are some places where you have to, like, go out and then walk up.
She's wealthy, but she's not private jet wealthy.
You've seen that fucking Miami house.
I had kind of assumed that was just the parking garage at school, because then I kind of assumed that he just got on the L from school.
I think you might be right, actually. I do think you might be right, because
that would make more sense, but it's shameless, so we will never know.
It also wouldn't surprise me if she had like a parking permit for school. But
yeah,
back in the city, we catch Debbie on her bike. She stops near like an abandoned propane grill, and she looks at the tank. And then we cut to Sheila's living room, where Frank walks downstairs and presents her with his vitals notebook. She praises him for maintaining his weight, which is like the one thing he absolutely lied about. She continues to run through her medical check questions, but with her usual like Sheila silliness. And to Frank's credit, he pretty much plays along nice. Like he answers like very chipper. So she starts to go on a little too much about like depression, and Frank finally tells her off for being too worrisome. He's like, Sheila, I'm fine. Like, I'm fucking fine. Like, chill. But he's too distracted with this project he's working on. He steals a clip from like the chip bag and then asks if they have any bacon, and it's like, what the F is he working on? And we will find out at the end.
And they
She
haven't even
says-
gone in that basement since like all that Eddie bullshit. I even forgot that place had a basement.
Well, it's like all of like some of the clown stuff is still up, and then like I think the spray paint is still on the wall when
I
Karen
think you're
spray
right.
painted whore, fucking
Yeah.
whore or something like that. But she says that they don't have any bacon, just French toast, and she asks if he's hungry. He says no, and she's like, "Oh my god, are you experiencing loss of appetite?" And then he's like no, and then he goes, "Oh, Christ," in that way that like only Bill can do as Frank.
Yeah.
Where's
That
it?
Jesus Christ. Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
That very Bill. It's very Bill of
I
him.
wrote Bill. Oh my god, I texted you guys. My friend was at the opening for American Buffalo, and she goes, "Hey Evan, I think someone from Shameless is here," and then texted me a photo of her 2 feet away from Bill Macy, and I was like, "Girlfriend, someone from Shameless?"
Well, it's like that's fucking Bill Macy.
I was
Is
like,
he?
"That's Bill Macy, dude."
Well, it's like he's Emmy nominated, not just for Shameless, but shit, was he nominated for Fargo for Oscar? Maybe for an Oscar? I don't know. She asks what the project is, but he won't tell her. And Chucky, who's sitting at the dining room table, interjects that he likes French toast, and Sheila suggests that he should go see if Sammy's making breakfast in the trailer. And perfect timing, because Sammy comes in, and Sheila rolls her eyes. Sammy asks if she should go get Frank his meds, and Sheila subtly shades her, and she's like, he did that ages ago.
10 full minutes.
Right? So she's like, okay, do you want me to like help you take your vitals? And Sheila's like, done and done by those of us who didn't have a man in our trailer and kicked their son out, which is such a slay. Perfect timing again, because the aforementioned man, Ronaldo, knocks at the door, and Sammy tries to like rub his affection in Frank's face, but he's uninterested.
Sammy is so daddy issues in this episode. Like, it is hardcore.
And Frank's
Yeah.
not having it at all.
He's like, don't care.
He literally isn't even looking at her. He's just like running around the kitchen, and she's like, "Hey, Pops," like in her underwear still or something.
Yeah, and he says to Sheila at one point, he's like, a grown woman can do any, like, what she wants to do. Like, I don't give a fuck. And then Sheila's like, right, for sure. But it's in my house. And that's not cool.
yeah.
So Sheila tries to kick Ronaldo out, but he's not budging, and he puts his dirty ass feet up on her coffee table, and her jaw just drops. She's like, no, this can't be happening. Chucky asks if Ronaldo is his father, and that kind of does it for Sheila. She like storms to the kitchen to Frank and begs him to do something because Sammy is basically begging for some type of parental boundaries, but he doesn't bite. He retreats down to the basement, and Sammy and Ronaldo start making out on the couch. So Sheila's like, it's my time to step in. And she goes on this little rant. She's like, I know you're just trying to lash out at Frank, and that's fine, but I don't think it's cool to have your kid around for it. It's pretty inappropriate. And Chucky's like playing with a sword or something in the background, and he knocks over one of her porcelain figures. So she gets like pretty upset. And then Sammy continues to have foreplay with Ronaldo, which causes Sheila to get more upset, and she leads Chucky upstairs to get him out of the room.
Yeah, like Sammy fully starts going down on Ronaldo in the cause Sheila's like, my Hummels, and he's like, I could go for a Hummer. Like, fuck you, Ronaldo.
Right? Well, and Sammy's like wild AF. But on the street, Fiona and Ian are running with Liam and Yev in like the baby carriage that Ian's pushing. Ian comments on a new yoga studio opening up like in place of an old porn shop as they pass by the building. And it's like, ah, yes, this is the season of gentrification.
Gentrification building!
Right? Like, this is the big plot line. Fiona switches topics and asks if he called the doctor from the mental health clinic, and he says that he's fine and he didn't need to, but she pushes. She's like, well, the best time to go is when you feel good. And he maintains that his episode was a one-time thing from doing too much coke down at the club, and says that he's cut back. And she, like, to her credit, she really tries to be gentle and like nudge him to go just to like be sure. She's like, just in case, like, they'll run tests, like whatever. And he's very clear. He's like, I don't have what Monica has. And she goes, I know, but like don't you want to make sure? Like,
yeah.
She's like, she's acting like she believes in to make him feel better.
Mm-hmm.
But her tone says that she's not buying it. And she says that, like, you know, odds are someone's gonna get it. It's not anybody's fault. And so Ian jokes that it's gonna be Carl. She's like, it's not our fault, just fucking like genetics, Russian roulette. And Ian's like, I'm betting on Carl.
Yeah, fully in denial.
And then immediately challenges her to a race and just like takes off with the babies. So she runs out. She like reluctantly runs after him. She's like, Jesus. So sort of mania creeping back in a little bit.
Oh, absolutely.
Back to Debbie. Hey, girl. She wearing the bluest shirt and the pinkest
Yeah.
leggings I have ever seen.
Oh my god, literally so middle school.
I do give Lynn Paolo some shit later here because I'm like, some of these outfits, I'm like, Jesus.
Yeah, like Ian's like bright lime yellow tank top he's wearing, like it's insane.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Well, that's like a lot, but then I'm also like, wait, he's running and like visibility and whatever. But like
In the middle of the day.
V has an outfit at one point that I do give Lynn Paolo some shit for. But so Debbie arrives at Sheila's house with the propane tank on the back of her bike and encounters a group of people in suits handing out flyers. She assumes that they're Jehovah's Witnesses and says to like try the Muslim house 3 down.
She's like, no thanks, I already accepted Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior. Thank you.
They're so bad.
And she's like, try 3 houses down. They're Muslim. And they walk away. Inside, she delivers the tank to Frank in the basement, and they haggle each other over like how much he'll pay for her running this errand. And he says that he also needs her help that evening, but she can't because they're having family dinner at the diner to celebrate Lip finishing his first year at college. So the not-so-mystery is solved. Fiona is not having dinner with Sean. The family's having dinner at Sean's restaurant.
Yeah.
Patsy's Pops.
Yep. And Frank says, I'll be there. Debbie reminds him that he wasn't invited, but Frank says to meet her in the park later so that they can go together. Then, as they're like walking out, Frank walks by Sammy and Ronaldo like fully having sex on the couch.
That's so gross.
And she tries to feign guilt.
She's like, oh, Daddy, you caught me.
She literally verbatim says, oh, Daddy, you caught me. Am I in trouble?
She's literally like riding Ronaldo on the couch.
She is, legitimately. And it's like, okay, I see the comedic potential of a storyline like this. But based on their past relationship, when they almost had sex, it comes off as a sexual thing.
Yeah.
Like, it comes off as like her
Yeah.
daddy issue. Like, her daddy issues aren't because she wants parental boundaries. Her daddy issues are because she still has sexual feelings for her dad.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I would have rather hear that they had her like trying to be a junkie or something, because Frank definitely wouldn't give a shit. He'd like probably even support it.
Yeah.
He'd probably do it with her, like
Right.
drugs, obviously.
Exactly.
But this show loves incest. They think it's so funny.
It really does.
Right, and it's like it's just coming off as weird.
And like Lena, like you're so right. Like the fact that like the previous like sexual innuendos and almost sex that has already happened between them, it just makes it gross because it's just like obviously Frank's like having none of it, but Sammy's just like, oh my god.
Right, not just the fact that like she had a crush on him because she didn't know that he was her dad, but the fact that he kind of reciprocated, like he got
Yeah.
hard a
Yeah.
couple times. It's like this
Yeah.
just comes off as like very sexual.
Like the fact that it's happened more than once. just-
yeah,
ew.
yeah, not. I definitely would have rather, now that I think harder about it, it's like I would have rather that they just had her like try doing hard drugs or something, and she's like,
Yeah.
Dad, aren't you gonna stop me? Like I'm doing such a bad thing, and he's like, bitch, let me get some of that. At Kevin V's, V walks down the spiral stairs in some sexy heels and lingerie, hoping to get some action from her man.
Shinola looking good. Looking good, Shinola.
Good AF. Hey girl. She finds him in the kitchen on the computer, completely engrossed in an online mommy tips chat room. He's like, my mommy and me chat room, whatever. And he's asked this like group of moms for help with the twins biting during nursing, and they said that there's ways for her to like toughen her nipples up. And it's like, okay, good on Kev for like listening and trying to make nursing easier for V. Like he's seeking out solutions, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
I would have just suggested that she pump and feed the twins with bottles, and they do end up trying that as a compromise later, but like whatever. So she tries once again to seduce him, and it works. They start kissing on each other, but they're interrupted by one of the babies crying. Because in Kev's like, is that Amy crying? And she's like, she'll calm herself. Like,
Yeah. Can you please fuck me?
right? Like, give me 10 minutes. So she snaps him back into the zone, sinks down to blow him. And he thinks that she doesn't notice, so he opens the computer back up to check on the chat room. He's not even getting hard. He's like, and it's like he's too focused on the kids. He's not in the mood. This storyline really sucks for me emotionally because I'm like, I can't blame either of them. V def has postpartum, and Kev is like putting his all into being a dad. So it's like, I can't even pick a winner and a loser here.
She has postpartum. She's not connecting with her daughters the way she wanted to, and she like misses feeling sexy and hot for her man. It was like a big part of their relationship, and she's losing that, and it hurts for her.
Right. They had a very active sex life. But then it's also like, I do feel bad for Kev too, because it's like, he really is just trying to be like the best dad he can be.
Yeah.
And like V was pushing so hard for kids, and now that they're there, he's like, okay, fuck, I gotta do exactly what we've been preparing to do for so long.
Right? And she's like, it's fine. Like we can let it slip a little sometimes, you know, like glass ball, plastic ball, juggling thing. But Kev is just like, no, everything is a glass ball. Like, but then V puts on one of the ugliest outfits I've ever seen.
Flame
And this is where I
her.
say, I'm sorry, Lynn Paolo, but one of the ugliest outfits I've ever seen. Because it's literally like bright blue underwear, purple, so purple bra, white shirt, like tank top with a knit, with like a crocheted back, and then studded jean shorts. And I'm like, okay, it's camp. Also, it's evil. Because V has had some seriously loud outfits, but like they look good.
Yeah.
And this one I feel like did not work for me. But I'm not a fashion major. So she puts on this outfit and says, fine, you can stay and play stay-at-home dad. I'm going to go open up the alibi. And she leaves.
And honestly, I feel like that was a good move for her. Like, it's nothing too dramatic. She's like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm tired of being mom today. You be mom today. Goodbye. Like, I feel like that was a good...
And he's happy to. He's like, okay, sure. Equality.
Bet, let's go.
Like, let's go. Now, what's Carl up to? He's hobbling down the street on his crutches, and he passes by a man loading, like, an older man who uses a motorized wheelchair into a van, which leaves the wheelchair unoccupied. So Carl seizes this moment to steal it and speeds away.
Is this...
Now he uses his new whip.
This is Carl's only storyline in this episode, isn't it?
He
No.
honestly had, like, in this episode, he is just kind of like a supporting character to Debbie.
Yeah.
Because he is kind of the catalyst for getting Debbie to open up to the rest of the family because he, like, teases her and stuff. But yeah, that is, he's very much comedic relief this episode. Which I honestly don't have a huge problem with because he does get a little more screen time next episode. But
yeah, I was about to say, I think next episode is when, like, he actually has, like, a plot line or two.
Yeah, with Holly and Ellie getting involved again.
Yeah, and, like, all the parties and the school and the pool.
Yeah. And I have some serious beef with this next sequence. I'll get into it. But on the L, Lip makes the journey home, and this is an interesting montage that feels very like British season 1, complete with like 2x speed footage and close-up, like super close-up on Jeremy Allen White's face. And I know it's supposed to emphasize like the changing of social classes as Lip travels back to the South Side, because he starts out riding with like businessmen and women with tons of makeup on, and then it turns into like homeless people and people who are very obviously drunk and stuff like that.
And suddenly he's like grabbing for the watch on his wrist, and yeah.
Right. And like it emphasizes like the length of his commute, like how long he's going, like it takes him to get home. But like, damn, it feels like a waste of screen time to me a little bit. Like I feel like it goes on for legit like 2 minutes, I think. I just feel like
I agree. It's a good idea of the illustration they were making, but yeah, it does go on for quite a long time.
Right, like thematically it works. I think the execution, it just should have been a little shorter. I think I could have done without some of the clips in there. But he makes some serious eye contact with like this very cute blue-eyed black guy. He makes some like very intense eye contact with him, and I'm like, okay, are you guys gonna kiss?
Count 1 of 2 in this episode of let a Gallagher sibling just be bi. Pretty please.
Right, come on. Hi, Mickey.
Hi, Mickey.
We cut right to him.
He looks so good.
He's smoking a cigarette.
God, that I think about that shot all the time of him turning around
with the sun,
taking the cigarette out with the sun. Oh, it's gorgeous.
Christopher Chulak, you did what you had to do. Or their DP, whoever their DP was on the shoot. But we find out that the job Mickey's running is a moving service where he plays nice with some Northside people as like Iggy and the other guy load up the truck. And I'm like, is Mickey also getting season 3 flashbacks? Because I was like, okay, you're moving. And he acts all like bossy boss to Iggy, and the woman reminds him to be careful with the piano.
And like and he like waves to the little kid in the car. He's like, bye buddy, we'll see you at the other house.
Bye,
like,
little guy. Little do they know they are not making it to that other house.
Sure are.
But
shit.
Before we get there, this next sequence is set to one of my favorite songs of the episode, and a song that I had in my playlist for a while. Feelin' Good by the Stevenson Ranch Davidians. Lip finally reaches the Gallagher house after his long journey home, And he finds Debbie sitting on the porch, stabbing a doll while Carl tries to fashion a ramp for his new wheelchair. Time check. It's after school, so it's probably around 4 in the afternoon. And she insists that she doesn't want to talk about her last day at school and why she's upset. Some guy, literally just some guy, his name's Stumpy, apparently, greets Lip.
All of a sudden, Lip has neighborhood friends. Like...
Right. And he's got some new dermal piercings that look like horns, and they're honestly pretty sick. Like, they look pretty cool. Lip, this guy has a shit ton of piercings. But Lip walks over to smoke weed with some neighborhood guys that we've never seen before. And I honestly don't mind this that much because it implies that the Gallaghers do stuff that we don't see on screen. Like, it's like, okay, like, they just have normal life between the plot that we see.
Yeah.
So I'm cool with it. And Stumpy is wearing a shirt that I'm pretty sure Mickey has either worn or does wear later. It's like some metal shirt.
You literally could have substituted Mickey into this scene and it would have been the same fucking scene. Like...
Right? Like, but they talk about what they've been up to over, like, the year. And one of the guys comments on Lip's new watch, and he lies and says that he stole it from a kid's dorm room. Stumpy pulls out some angel dust, and they suggest mixing it with the weed that they're smoking. So Lip takes that opportunity to kind of, like, dip out.
He's like, I'm good.
He's like, actually, you know what, guys? Like, I gotta go.
It's like 4 p.m. He got stuff to do.
Right. And he says, he like, makes the excuse. He's like, I haven't been home yet. Like, I need to see my family. I'll hang out with you guys later. But Lip just kind of knows that he, like, doesn't really fit with them anymore. At Patsy, well, because they also talk about, like, Stumpy got some girl pregnant and she, like, had the kid. He's like, I'm saving up for, like, a paternity test or, like, whatever.
Literally, that was Mickey. They wrote a scene for season 3 Mickey and put it in season 5.
Right. Well, and it's also, like, I don't know, that whole thing also with Lip, because it's like, okay, then when Lip, like, did get the opportunity to be a dad, every time Lip's gotten the opportunity to be a dad, he's like, I'm going to be a dad.
Yeah.
Like, that is going to be my kid, whether or not it's my kid. At Patsy's, Fiona is waiting on her tables, and she comes over to a regular named Angela, who's a fancy and very hot lady.
She is so attractive.
She's so gorgeous.
She looks like if a Siamese cat would be a person. She's just, like, gorgeous.
Yeah.
So hot.
She's just something else. She orders a slice of blueberry pie and a coffee. And Angela asks her if she's seeing anyone, but it's in, like, a casual way. Like, she's like, how are you? Like, are you seeing anyone? Like, in, like, a girl talk way. And Fiona's like, ha ha ha, no. Like, because she thinks she's just, like, gossiping.
Fiona should have fucked that woman. Fiona should have gotten to fuck that woman. God damn it.
I agree.
Right? Angela is so clearly flirting with her. Fiona, like, fondly laughs. And I'm like, I can't tell if Fiona's like, I know she's flirting with me and I'm just going to, like, laugh. Or maybe she's, like, kind of interested back. Or if she's just like, oh my god, this is just girl talk. Like, this is just girl time. Gossip. Like, I don't know what her thought process is. But, yeah, it's just like, okay, she should have been gay. Point blank period.
Point blank period.
Fiona, like, passes by the kitchen. She's just kind of, like, doing all these tasks. It's going very smoothly. But she passes by the kitchen where Jackie is arguing with the cook because he missed an order of chicken parm for her table. So Fiona gives Jackie her chicken parm. And we met Jackie last season in season 4.
We met her briefly when JDM's character briefly introduced her. She was like, this is Jackie. She'll show you, like, the lockers or whatever.
Like, she'll show you around. Miss Blonde girl with the lip piercing, yeah.
Yeah.
I love her.
A coworker who is named Melinda in every episode except this one. Fiona literally calls her Wanda. Her name is Melinda. I looked up Melinda Shameless. She came up. She's named Melinda because she gets a pretty big role in the later seasons, like season 6, because her and Fiona have some beef.
I'm so bad at all the waitresses' names. Is she the older one with, like, the mid-shoulder curly hair?
Yeah. And, like,
Okay.
yeah, Amanda doesn't really know, like, how big her role gets, but her and Fiona have some beef later.
She becomes a very prominent role in season 9.
And it's like, okay, her name is Melinda. Fiona calls her Wanda in this episode. Great. Calls Angela Oriental, racist, and informs Fiona that she just asked her how much Fiona makes. Like, Angela asked Melinda how much Fiona makes. So she teases Fiona about Angela hitting on her. She's like, you know, she just wants to, like, eat your pussy, give you money.
She
like...
wants some Fiona pie.
And then she does, like, the little, like, finger licking, like, between her fingers at her.
Yeah. So Sean, who overhears this, decides to step in. Flop.
Yep.
Flop.
Well, because he's like, Because he's like, oh, is she bothering you?
What's going on here? Oh, she's just sexually harassing me.
Like, fuck off, Sean.
Is this girl bothering you? So Fiona flirts with Sean a little bit. She just flirts with everybody this episode. Good for her.
Yeah, good for her. Bye, queen.
She flirts with Sean a little bit. She makes a spanking joke. Sean tells her that some guys from this local band came in and asked for her, so she goes to wait on them. And she passes Angela's table, which is now abandoned, and the pie was like, had one bite taken out of it.
She never eats any of the pie she ever orders, and it makes me so mad because sometimes that pie sounds so good.
Well, she gets a different one every time, and then she takes one bite, and she's really just there to scope out Fiona. We'll find out more about her later. I'm keeping it a secret for the people. But she left a $100 bill as a tip.
100. Someone did that at my job the other day.
Oh, yeah?
A man gave my coworker, he came up to her and was like, so what do you do and blah, blah, blah. And he was like, what do you like to do for fun? And she goes, oh, I like to travel, but I've been at school and I'd like saving money and stuff. And he goes, hey, I've been trying to pay it forward. Here you go. And gave her $100 towards her traveling. But because she is such a nice person, she put it in our tip jar.
That's sweet.
Because we share tips at my stuff.
That is super sweet. Fiona comes to the band table and flirts a little bit with the lead singer, who I think is Australian. I don't think he's British. I think he's Australian.
Like New Zealand, Australian, one of those.
Right,
too.
just not British, but like British sounding.
He's from the Down Under.
Yeah, and then Melinda calls out Sean for staring at Fiona. He's like staring at her from across the room, and Melinda's like, Jesus, blink, please. Like,
she's so, honestly, like, even though I know we see Melinda a lot, she's like kind of annoying. I don't like her.
She's kind of, because she's just a bitch. Like,
she's
that's like, but that's like her whole thing. Anyway, back at Sheila's, Sheila arrives home and she smells the couch, and it smells.
Her smelling the couch.
She's like sniffs.
She's like wafting around, like sniffing around the
and she
the room.
Sniffs, and then she thinks for a second, and she moves in closer, and she sniffs again, and then she just goes, "Oh God damn it!" in that like Joan Cusack way, and she's off to clean it.
I love her.
She's off to clean. She discovers also one of her dildos underneath the couch, and you know what that means. She is fucking pissed.
Oh, she's so
and she
pissed.
runs upstairs.
She's so mad. She runs upstairs to find all of her toys rifled through, and is now forced to clean them all. She dumps them all in the bathtub. So then Sheila hears
that seems
so funny. So then Sheila hears Frank enter, and she goes to complain to him, and she begs him to step in, or else she'll kick Sammy and Chucky out. And he doesn't give a shit. He literally goes, okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, you support me? And he's like, I don't care.
I don't
and then she's
care.
like, right? And then she's like, okay, like, serve. In a grocery / convenience type store, this scene is hard.
Like a bodega type store, it looked like.
God, when he walked into this grocery store, it just hit me what was about to happen. And like,
I hate this scene so much.
This storyline hurts me so deeply. Like, this storyline hurts me so bad.
Especially in this episode.
It just sucks. It sucks on all sides. But here we go. Ian weaves through the aisles with Liam and Yevgeny in the stroller. He crosses paths with another guy with a baby who eyes him up and down very obviously. Ian then runs into Kev and the twins, and he asks for help with getting Gemma to go poop. And then he asks if Svetlana still breastfeeds. And Ian says that she does because it's supposed to be good for the baby, plus it's also free. And Kev is like, oh, I forgot that part of the argument. Like, I'll be sure to tell V that. And Ian is silly. He talks so much like a 19-year-old guy that's not even funny. He's like, yeah, she's into it. It's like supposed to be good for the baby or whatever. And it's like, I forget sometimes that like that's how young he's supposed to be. He's supposed to be 19, but I'm like
17.
He's taking care of a whole ass baby.
Mickey says in this
God,
episode 17.
17?
I told you this motherfucker is 17 for 3 fucking seasons.
No, I knew that, but then I'm also like, he should be 19.
Yeah.
Because he talks like a 19-year-old guy. Kev catches the guy checking Ian out again, and he's like, "Are you cool, or should I like beat the shit out of him? Like, should I send him off?"
Yeah.
And Ian's like, "I'm fine, I can handle myself." So Ian and the guy make eye contact again after Kev leaves, and then he looks down for a moment.
And this dude also has a baby.
This guy also has a kid in a stroller. But he looks down for a moment, and then we smash cut immediately to 2 baby carriages and the 3 babies sitting facing away from Ian and this mystery guy jerking each other off behind the store.
So, like, the way they have it set up is so interesting because I've set that up so I could pee discreetly before. It's like they have the 2 cars parked next to each other, and, like, both of the passenger seat doors are, like, open, so it's, like, blocked,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah, they're basically just trying to, like, hide
Be
themselves.
hidden, and I've done that so many times so I could piss on the side of the room. Sorry.
Small bladder.
Like, cut that.
Cut that. Do you listen to the Sunny podcast?
Dude, I watch every episode.
Cut that.
I watch cut that.
Cut to commercial. I wish we could get commercials. Damn, can you imagine us reading ads?
Oh my god.
This
no.
podcast is supported by MeUndies. I wear those undies.
Their most recent ad was like that really weird like herbal drink that like Glenn drinks.
Is it like
I
that
was
mushroom
what
stuff
are
that's
you
supposed to be a substitute for coffee? I see that everywhere.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think, and Rob was like, I was drinking that. I was scared because you were drinking
Of
it.
course he's a shroom guy. Or like,
I want to get sponsored by Audible. So Audible, if you want to sponsor us, we'll take your money.
or I was just listening to Armchair Expert with Dax Shepard, and
I heard that one's really good.
well, he did an interview with Dan McBride, and fucking fascinating, that dude. He's actually very nice, which it's like you would never expect him to be because he plays assholes. Anyway, the way he reads the ads, he's like, "This podcast is supported by Noom," and then they like read the whole ad.
I was
and it's
listening
like,
to the Scrubs recap podcast, which is like the only podcast hosted by men that I can listen to anymore. They have so many ads. They have so fucking many, and they repeat themselves like 3 or 4 times in an episode.
Well, because they just
awful.
pre-record them, and then they just stick them in there in the edit. Like, well, okay, like,
but like I heard the same Hyundai ad 3 times in the same episode.
Yeah.
That's repetitive and
is
annoying.
it through iHeartRadio?
Yep.
Is like that. iHeartRadio fucking does that because on This Is Important. Well, this was silly. They were talking about Folgers in one episode. They were like singing the Folgers theme song, and they were like,
Folgers in your
right.
cup.
They were seeing who was like the best at singing by singing that, and then Folgers reached out to them and were like, "We'll pay for ad time." So now they read this like
what the fuck?
So now they have a Folgers ad. But
the only Folgers
anyway,
ad I
God damn
want
it.
is the weird Christmas incest commercial. That's the only Folgers
Bizarre,
ad I want.
right? But they
That
literally
one.
just sit there and they're like, "Do you drink coffee? I drink coffee," and it's like 2 of them don't drink coffee.
This was our ad break.
It's like the brother.
This is our ad break.
Yeah.
We're talking about
This is
ads,
our ad
ads and
break.
other podcasts because we can't get ads ourselves. But
Venmo us at
Yeah.
luckwehadpod. Just kidding. We don't. Just kidding. We don't have a Venmo. But
do have a
can set
Ko-Fi.
one up.
we have a Ko-Fi.
So Ian has cheated on Mickey, and it's broken my heart into a million pieces.
Indeed.
It's like aggressive. It's not even
I'm
like,
like-
a oh my god, we're being sneaky. It's like like electric guitar music, like hard jerking
I'm also
each
like
other.
watching them, and I'm like, is this enjoyable for you guys? Like
It looks
like does this
intense.
Like, you see Ian's face, and he hates himself for doing this. Like, the...
not just that, but it's like physically. I'm like physically.
Yeah.
It's
Does this
aggressive.
feel
Like,
good?
that's so
It feels
aggressive.
a little too aggressive.
But, like, you can see Cam does a really good job of expressing on his face that Ian does hate himself for doing this. And it's because it's the hypersexuality, it's the mania coming in and taking him over.
Right.
But then Homeboy has a completely different look on his face. He's looking like a fucking hunter later in this
Yeah.
episode.
But so
Looking for his prey.
that's later. Now they both finish. They go their separate ways, like without so much as a word.
The guy just like casually walks away with his baby, and I'm like, I hate every part of this scene.
Appropriate, inappropriate. Scene transition to Mickey, who is showing the moving truck to some guys. They're auctioning it off Storage Wars style, so they're not really like letting them look around. They're just kind of like looking on the outside, and they just kind of bid. And one guy asks the price of the Barca Loungers, but Mickey snaps at him because they're not selling item by item. He has to buy the whole truck. And the guy's like, well, I really like Barca Loungers. And Mickey's like, great, buy the fucking truck. Get your Barca Loungers. And we end up netting $5,300, which split between Mickey and his guys is probably about $1,800 each. So not bad for like one day of work. Really not bad for one day of work, actually. Mickey peels the last logo magnet off of the truck, and Ian pulls up with the babies. And he playfully points out that Ian's late. Ian lies very unconvincingly and is like, grocery store was busy. And 6 of them pull off.
And then he has like a smug look on his face and pulls away, and I'm like, shut up.
Not really smug, just kind of like, honestly, almost like guilty.
He kind of looked, I was about to say like almost like dissociative. He's like not there, kind of.
Almost pissed, right? Almost just like definitely very like out of it.
He's just like, yeah, I guess I'm here to help you.
right. He's like grocery store's busy.
That makes sense though, because Homeboy's like 1 to 100 at all times.
Right. At the alibi, Tommy complains because V won't free pour the liquor, and she says that Free pouring liquor is a waste of money. That's why the bar's losing money. Lip comes in and says hi to Tommy and also Sammy, who's over at the pool table playing around with some other rando guy.
Doesn't she go to like, hi, Lip? And he's just like, hi.
Yeah, she calls out to him. She says hi to him. He doesn't say hi to her. But she's playing pool and flirting with some rando guy, and they make a comment about like how horny she is. Lip came to talk to Tommy about a summer construction job that he offered him earlier in the year. And Tommy says that he's about to start a cleanup job for the nursing home that we watched them knock down at the beginning of this episode. I love continuity. I love through lines.
It's so enjoyable.
That's big.
It's so enjoyable.
Like the fact that this episode takes place over the span of one single day. It's like, I love that. I support that. Tommy says that he doesn't hire college pussies. And he fucks with him for a little bit because Lip's like, dude, come on. Like, it's too late in the summer to find another job. You told me you would give me this job. And then he's like, I'm fucking with you, of course. Like, you start tomorrow. And V gives him a shot on the house and welcomes him home. Back at Patsy's, Fiona's still flirting with the band guy. He asks how it's possible that she doesn't have any tattoos, and she offers to let him do a full body scan to make sure that she doesn't.
The other guy in the band is Gus, right?
Yes, Amanda.
Yes.
Okay, that's
and
what
we
I
do
thought.
see Gus.
Yes.
Yeah. He kind of gives a look at one point, like when Fiona's flirting with Gus, or when Fiona's flirting with the guy's name is Davis. When Fiona's flirting with Davis, which by the way is my brother's name, so ew. He kind of gives this like, not like disgusted, but like a little shocked. And based on what we find out about Davis later, that does ring true. He invites her to their show that night, and she points out her ankle monitor and is like, I can't. And so he offers to come by her place after the show, slips her his number. So she walks away, sits at the table with Melinda and Jackie to count their tips, and they talk about the guy. And he comes by once again to leave her a tip and remind her to text him if she wants to hook up. And then he finally actually leaves, and the girls like gossip about him. Mm-hmm. Sean interjects, saying that hooking up with Davis would be very not smart. So he then invites the three of them to go to the NA meeting with him, but Jackie's working a double and Fiona's going to serve the family when they come in. But Melinda goes with Sean. And Sean says that he'll be back to meet the family. Or I guess he's met everybody but Lip. He's like, I'll be back to meet Lip.
Yeah.
At the park, Frank meets Debbie. He instructs her to scoop a bunch of mulch into a bag he brought for his project. And he says that he can't do it because it would look weird for a grown man to do that at a kid's park.
Fair.
But then he gets down on the ground and starts digging with her anyway. At Sheila's, she pays a locksmith who's changing the locks on the front door, and she leads Chucky back out to the RV, and she's like, you can come visit sometimes, but you have to call first. And sometimes I'm gonna say yes, and sometimes I'm gonna say no. But that's what being a family is about. We have boundaries. And okay, Joan seriously carried so much of this show on her back.
Very true. Very true. When spoiler alert, when Sheila gets in that RV and drives the fuck away, that was goodbye.
The show drove off with her.
Yeah. Goodbye to the good show that we knew before.
Yeah. Well, and then there's this exchange between her and Chucky.
Opening the door.
Right, he keeps pushing the RV door back open, and she's like, Chucky, lock the goddamn door. And he keeps doing it, and then she holds the door shut and goes, lock the door. And she waits until she hears it click, and then she's like, and she goes back into the house.
Chucky, lock the goddamn door.
Lock the goddamn door. And then she like hears it click, and then she's like looking in on it, and then she hears it click, and then she's like, okay. Back at the diner, the family has gathered to celebrate summer. Sorry, actually, side note, back for that previous scene. Well, Chucky goes, well, what happens if Mama brings another guy home? And Sheila goes, well, I guess you'll just put a pillow over your head until she's finished. It's like, oh my god.
She's like, I'm not your mom. I don't know what you want.
Right? It's like, she's had it. Back at the diner, the family has gathered to celebrate summer, and they also toast to Lip. Fiona tells Frank to join in on the toast, and he pulls out a beer. And they're like, what the fuck? And he says that he has determined through extensive research that his new liver can last him 1 beer a day. He then asks Fiona for another order of Salisbury steak, but she's like, well, I'll have to pay for it. And she doesn't want to do that. And so he's like, okay, cool. If you do, we'll call it even. And they're like, call what even? And he goes, her trying to kill my son with cocaine.
Lip's like, whoa, what the fuck, dude?
Yeah, Lip goes, why are you even here, Frank? And Fiona's like, just forget it. Like, I'll get him more. So she puts in another order for him. Debbie seems kind of quiet and sad now. So Lip asks what's up because she was just stabbing a doll an hour earlier. And Debbie reveals that Holly and Ellie are ignoring her, and they comfort her about it. One of the busboys checks out Ian, who raises his eyebrows back. He nods back.
I recognize that actor and I couldn't place him and I didn't look it up. But I was like, I know you.
Should we look it up now?
You keep going. I'm gonna do some research. Hold on.
Okay, great.
My money's on he got murdered on Supernatural.
Probably.
Everyone gets murdered on Supernatural.
Sean returns from the meeting and introduces himself to Lip. Frank tells Sean that it's so nice of him to hire a felon. And then Fiona introduces Frank, whose steak arrives delivered by this busboy that was hitting on Ian. And then the busboy goes to the bathroom and Ian watches him. Sean then heads back to work, but like squeezes Fiona's arm as he leaves, and Lip picks up on it. He's like, was that a little arm squeeze? And Jackie, right? He clocks it, and Jackie says that they're always flirting like that. And then Ian.
I love Jackie. She's so cute.
You found him?
Crazy Ex-Girlfriend.
You're kidding.
He was a regular on Crazy Ex-Girlfriend.
Who did he play?
Hector?
Oh my god! From like Josh's group of friends.
Yeah.
Yeah. And White Josh. Oh, White Josh was the best.
Yeah. Crazy Ex-Girlfriend.
That show was so
funny.
good. I really need to rewatch it. I told my parents to watch it the other day. I was like, you guys should watch it. It's
excellent.
really good. But Ian excuses himself to go to the bathroom to follow this busboy. And while he's gone, Lip asks Fiona if Ian ever saw the doctor. She says that he refused, so Lip suggests that they talk to Mickey. Which I'm like, oh, that's kind of sweet. Like, they're like, oh, we're having problems with Ian? Like, let's talk to Mickey.
They're like, oh, we got to check in.
Yeah.
I wish they communicated a little more sometimes. Ian arrives in the bathroom. He looks at himself in the mirror for a moment, and then kind of like...
That shot of himself looking in the mirror, it's so haunting. It's so good. He's like, I'm not gonna look at that guy. I don't know who that is. Like,
he's fucking ashamed. But
yeah.
He takes a deep breath and then goes into the stall to meet the busboy. And then we see a shot like of their feet. We see him get on his knees to suck Ian's dick. And then the song that they used for that clip is really dumb, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I just thought tonally it was like it was a shift that didn't make sense. But at home, Kev is commentating on the baseball game for the girls, and he goes, okay, the White Sox are our team, and that other team are the Twins. We hate the Twins. And then one of the babies starts fussing, and he goes, no, not the baby girl twins, the player twins.
He's so cute because like he definitely improv'd on that because the baby started crying.
Right, he was like, no. The player twins, not the baby girls. A knock at the door finds him talking to the people we saw Debbie mistake for Jehovah's Witnesses earlier, and Kev does the same. Turns out they're actually part of a realty group interested in buying houses in the neighborhood because supposedly it's on the up and up. Kev's phone rings, so he shuts the door, but he takes their card anyway. And he answers the call from V. Carol is at the bar but willing to come help if he needs her, which he doesn't. Kev informs V that someone from his chat room said that he has Madonna whore complex, that he can't have sex with her because he sees her as like just a mother now. And she relays all of this information immediately to Carol, and in the midst of like a conversation between the two of them where they're kind of arguing about that, he makes eye contact with Gemma and he's like, B, I have to go because it seems that Gemma has pooped. And she did.
He like picks her.
She's covered in shit.
He like picks her up and she got like the doo doo and he's like dancing with her
He
and then
goes,
goes to put her down
there
and he's like,
it
oh,
is.
never mind.
There it is.
And he's like, that's my girl. And he starts like cradling her, and then he gets like shit on his hand. He's like, ugh, that's my girl. Steve Howie. He is sometimes brilliant. In the Patsy's locker room, Fiona and Jackie discuss their plans for the night. Jackie's apartment hunting because the judge won't let her have her daughter back if she doesn't have a better residence than the motel that she's currently staying at, and Fiona's debating inviting the Davis guy over. Then Sean knocks on the door and he asks Fiona about her family's check because she didn't charge them for the pie. And she tries to appeal to him. She's like, most of it's going to get thrown out at the end of the night, which is true. Allegedly, I would take quote unquote expired food home from Blarnucks when I closed. And I only I only just quit that job like 2 weeks ago, so allegedly I would do that.
Allegedly, I would take the frozen stuff at the end of the
Allegedly,
night.
I would not ring in like 4 drinks that I made after we closed. Allegedly.
Dude, I was a supervisor.
I was just an employee.
I would take
but
as
like,
I please.
allegedly, I would do that.
Allegedly, I don't work for that company.
I straight up did
Yeah.
make myself French fries all the time at the little pizza place that I worked at and did not charge myself for them. And it was a place that
Yum.
I was 16 years old and they were paying me $4 in cash under the table.
Jeez.
And when
Allegedly.
God
would,
damn.
and when I would make fries for myself, sometimes they would be like, "Did you pay for those?" I'm like, "No, I didn't fucking pay for these.
Like,
I'm not going
no.
to."
Dude, when I worked ice cream, free all the time, always. Well,
Oh,
we
yeah.
were
Free,
allowed to have it free, but
free.
like, you know,
I would take like Quarto.
I would eat like
dude.
the little cakes that we had. I wasn't supposed to eat
Jeez.
those, but like we had little cakes for Sundays. I would eat those.
I don't know how local this place is, but like this brand Taharka, their ice cream is to die for.
Mm.
They have a key lime pie ice cream. Best shit I ever did eat.
Ooh,
They had a burger cookie. Have you guys ever had burger cookies?
no. What is that? Is
Oh
that
my
a
God,
Maryland
they're like
thing?
it's like a short. It probably is. It's like a shortbread cookie, and then it has like this like chocolate icing ganache layer on top, and it's just the best thing ever. I'll
Ooh,
send
that
you a
sounds
care
good.
package. I'll
Aw.
I'll send you guys some.
Aw. Maybe I'll send one back.
I also have to send you new stickers too, so I might send them with
Oh, yeah. We'll talk about this at the end. But she tries to get out of paying him the money for the pie, but he won't budge, so she hands it over from her tips, and he warns her not to take advantage of him just because they're friends, and she apologizes.
it. Like respect though, because especially like in a place in employment, like they're hiring like ex-cons and felons, and he's gonna be like, "Don't jip the check, girl. Like you can't be playing games at this
Right, well, like,
place."
at first he's kind of, like, like being playful with her, and then he gets pretty serious, and he's like, don't take advantage of me just because we're friends, and she like,
Yeah.
very playfully, like, apologizes. She's like, sorry, boss. But she gives him the money anyway, and does seem to, like, kind of feel bad, but then Jackie teases her and is like, sorry, boss. And
then
they
like,
start.
hit
She
each
starts
other
hitting
with
her
their
with her like
shirts.
wad of cash because Fiona is making crazy tips because she's hot as fuck.
Yep.
True that.
At Sheila's house, we discover that Sammy broke in by crowbarring the front door open, and she claims that Sheila's house is also hers because Frank married her. And Frank comes in and pushes past their argument to like go downstairs to work on his project. And in the midst of this argument, "You're a 45-year-old woman. I'm 33. You could have fooled me." Seriously, get her
It's
ass.
And then
so
Sheila's just like,
funny.
"Well, then fucking act like it."
Right. And Frank invites Sammy's date that she brought with her to come downstairs with him, which is the same guy she was playing pool with at the bar. Downstairs, we finally get to see what Frank has been working on: a home brewed beer. Frank's Milk of the Gods, supposedly the strongest beer ever made. He knows that his liver may only last him 6 to 8 years, so he wants to leave this beer as a legacy. Plus, if he can only have one beer a day, it should be 130 proof.
Jesus.
Frank taps a jar of beer for the two of them to try somewhere else. He's like, we need to go to a place more righteous than here.
Yeah. Oh god, Mickey looks so fucking good in this scene. Oh, he looks so good.
So does Fiona. Whew.
Yeah, she does. Yeah.
My God.
Oh, so does Lip. The three of them look really hot
when
in
they're
this
when they're
scene.
all walking together, it's like,
Yeah.
hey.
Oh my God, they look like so powerful. I feel like I saw like an edit of like them three when they're like walking, and I'm just like, yes.
It's so hot and sexy. I love it.
It's big. Outside Mickey's house, Lip and Fiona arrive to find one of the realty flyers stuck in his door, and they have this like silly exchange because they're like, who'd want to buy a house, and like how much do you think the houses are going for in this neighborhood? And Fiona goes, $20, make you holla.
And I love when they're like, "Mickey, we need to talk to you." He's like, "Does no one own a fucking phone anymore?"
No, because that's true. Mickey answers the door. They ask to talk to him. He says that he's on his way to run an errand. Remember dry cleaner Patel? So they should just walk with him. And they
Fiona has a little moment of like, "Well, how far are you going?" He's like, "Just around the corner. Just leave it alone."
right. Well, she's like,
Oh, actually, she's like, how far are you going? She was like, I got a ticking time bomb on my
and he
ankle.
goes just across the alley. They try to talk to him about convincing Ian to go see that doctor, but Mickey's questioning why he should in the first place if he's fine, because Mickey doesn't really like know what this is.
Yeah.
And it's like, I really wish Mickey would have come back before Fiona left, because it's sad that it went that way, and that obviously like the one leaving was the reason for one coming back, you know, because Noel and Emmy are both so fantastic, and they just like kill even in the smallest scenes that they have together. Like this scene is just so fun to watch. Like I'm like, they are seriously talking to each other like real people would.
Yeah.
Which is funny because they are the most characters ever. They arrive to the dry cleaners where Mickey proceeds to beat the shit out of Patel, featuring some very racist insults.
But also some of my favorite, like Fiona, like, "This is his errand?"
This is his errand. And Noel's yelling is pretty funny.
And Mickey screaming up. He's like, yo, Mrs. Patel, can you jerk your fucking husband off every once in a while so he doesn't come back to my rub and tug ever again?
And our obligatory Jeremy
man.
Allen White actually broke in that scene. Side note, he did actually laugh.
I love that they kept that
I know,
in.
he was laughing.
He was giggling.
Because Lip is so brother-in-law with that. I love that.
Right? He's like, okay, silly. But when Mickey comes back, they resume the conversation right where they left off.
He just comes, like, walking around. He's like, so this doctor.
Right, he literally comes back and it's like no time has passed. He's like, says Ian gets bipolar or manic or whatever the fuck. Mickey asks how they know that Ian's issues are bipolar and not just like regular depression from being poor. And so they start to throw out some symptoms. And a few seem to stick in Mickey's brain, but hypersexual rings the most bells. And he fires back kind of as a defense mechanism. He's like, hypersexuality? You mean horny? What 17-year-old gay kid isn't horny? And while that's true, what Mickey doesn't know is that Ian's gotten off multiple times without him today.
Yeah.
Twice. At least twice. Back at Kevin V's, she walks in looking for Kev, and she finds him asleep with the girls in their bed. It's really sweet.
It's so sweet, because they're both in, like, his arms, and they're both, like, I think one of them's, like, awake.
Yeah, it is really sweet, but poor V just cannot connect. There's, like, nothing behind her in her face but kind of sadness. And she goes downstairs and gets a bag of frozen peas for her sore tits, and then she gets a beer. The first sip, like, immediately relieving her, and also confirming her decision pretty more permanently, like, not to breastfeed, because you're not supposed to drink if you're breastfeeding.
Oh, are you not allowed? I was about to
You're
say,
not
you're not
supposed
supposed
to
drink while you're breastfeeding.
Well, if you go out for like a girls' night and you have like wine or whatever, if you just pump and dump, like, then you're good until like the next day.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Gotcha.
Yeah. It's like you're not supposed to, but some women do every once in a while.
Gotcha.
At the Gallagher house, Lip's friends whistle for him from outside, but he pretends to be like not home. And instead he texts Amanda and asks her how Miami is. And Lip and Amanda use so many fucking like emoticons. Like, they don't even use emojis, because I don't think emojis were around yet. But they use literally like colon parentheses. Lip sends a winky face. Anyway, at the Milkovich house, Ian watches Mickey sleep. Obligatory, there was a cut sex scene.
There was a cut sex scene. Like,
Amanda,
what the
take this one.
fuck? What the fuck? There, like, it would have taken 30 more seconds to include it, and like, it was an important moment.
They could have gotten rid of that stupid train montage.
Chucky could have peed a little less.
It was an important moment with Ian too. Like, there's this little moment of him like, I can't sleep, and like, it's very cute and they're wrestling. But like, in the actual sex scene part, and then Ian gets up out of bed and we see him picture a life with Mickey and the baby. It's that scene.
Wait, it's that scene? It's that scene? Oh my god.
It is this scene that was cut, and it's also just kind of like...
The grunts in that scene are so silly.
Like, it was very important to his mental state at the moment, and they fucking cut it, and I will never understand why, besides homophobia.
Right. Well, it's like not just...
They got a whole ass baby for that cut scene,
those
and they
white
cut
drapes
it.
and those white outfits. But
And
it's like...
that white ass fucking background. Where were they?
But it's like not just the whole thing where it's like they cut it and it was an important thing, like important for their relationship dynamic, but it's also like important to really illustrate like how far gone Ian felt mentally.
Yeah.
He's having these like delusions of grandeur, living in this big fancy White House with Mickey and his kid, and they're both happy, when in reality it's like Mickey wants basically nothing to do with this kid.
Yeah.
So
Oh god, I will
very
never
sad.
not be mad about it.
Do you think we won't get copywritten if we post that clip in the episode post?
We could post a screenshot of it.
I'll post it with
Sure.
the chicken dance
Different
music
music.
behind it, and then maybe we won't get taken down. Yeah, and I'll post it in like 2
God.
times speed.
Come here,
Sick.
army. Come here, army. Like, that had to be
Yes.
Noel improvising. It had to be.
Oh my god.
Ian puts out his cigarette, leans over to Mickey. He asks if he's awake, which wakes him up. Well, because he's like, are you awake? And Mickey's like, I am now.
Ian's like, I can't sleep. And Mickey's little smile, he's like, again? Like, oh god.
Because his face is smushed into the pillow, and he's like, again, with his eyes still closed. He's sleeping.
Like, he was sleeping. But then it's also like, the hypersexuality.
He had just gotten dicked good. He gotten dicked down good.
He's worn the fuck out.
The hypersexuality, because it's like, how many rounds do you think they went before that too? Like,
Yeah.
Jesus. But Either way, implied cutaway sex. They do have sex again. Back at the Gallagher house, V talks to Fiona outside about Kevin the babies. She wanted him to fail taking care of them today just so she could prove how hard it is, but he didn't fail. And then Fiona gets a suggestive text from Davis, complete with the most cringe old guy selfie I've ever seen. He even has a toothpick in his mouth.
And it's like so clearly a screenshot that she double taps and zooms in on the phone. Like, that is not how messages work. Like, it's so stupid.
Yeah. To keep herself from making a bad decision by sleeping with this guy, Fiona insists that the Gallaghers instead have a pool party, and she yells up to everyone. She's like, get dressed, like, we're getting in the pool.
How late are we thinking?
It's probably like Frank says it like one scene later.
It's almost midnight. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh damn.
So then she calls Sean and tells him to bring his son over. At an outdoor church-like park thing. I couldn't really tell what it was. It's like I thought it was
looks like an amphitheater in a park.
It's like it looks like if it's like a big park and there's like a gazebo little like picnic lunch area.
That's what I thought,
like.
But then it also looked like weirdly churchy to me. And also Frank's comment about like, let's go find somewhere more righteous. Either way, Frank and his buddy wait for midnight so that his drink quota can reset, and then he's ready to try the beer. Frank takes a sip and basically dies because it's literal poison. He turns to the guy, like the face
he makes. It's so funny.
And then the friend like reaches for the jar to try it, but then Frank chugs basically the whole thing and then promptly passes out. His friend tries the rest of it and spits it all out. He can't even swallow it. Back at the house, the Gallaghers are doing chicken fights in the pool. It's Carl and Fiona against Lip and Sean. How sweetly. Lip, Liam, V, and Will, Sean's son, watch from the side. Debbie manages to take Carl down. Ian arrives ready to join in, and Fiona asks where Mickey is, and Ian, like, coyly mentions that he wore him out, which sounds fun in theory, but the implication of the mania.
And wouldn't it have been cool if we could have seen it happen because they literally filmed it?
Shaking my damn head.
Well, it's just like, where's the equality?
Where's the equality?
Where's the respect?
Where's the equality? Because then I'm pretty sure we see like several Fiona sex scenes in following episodes. The kids wrestle in the pool as Fiona and Sean make eyes at each other. And they have this like moment where a neighbor tells them to shut up, and Fiona's like, "You shut up, it's summer!
It's summer!" Mm-hmm. And that's the last line
like,
of the episode.
Yeah, just setting that scene for like the episodes to come. They're like, it's summer, it's fun, we're loud, we're running around. But that's
you didn't include the after credit sequence.
There's an after credit sequence?
There's an after credit sequence, yeah. The credits roll, and then we come back up to Frank fully naked, laid out on one of those picnic tables.
Oh my god, getting drawn by those. Yeah, I was wondering, I thought.
Yeah, there's like a group of art students that were like, we came out to draw the wildflowers, and then we found you, and your body is so perfect.
And you were here, and we thought you were beautiful.
You just look so beautiful.
Yeah, because it's like so scarred and stuff, like they say that. No, I remember that because when I was reading about them being in the park, I literally was like, isn't the next scene, like the start of the next episode, Frank waking up naked? But it is an after credit sequence.
It is.
Amazing. The end credit song is Make You Feel by With Lions. Next week on Shameless, Fiona is off house arrest. Frank uncovers the reason for the realtors poking around. Lip starts his construction job. Carl is seeing some action with girls. Ian and Mickey run into some homophobic protesters, featuring Mr. Howard Eats Pants from iCarly.
Yeah!
Ian goes postal, and Fiona gets into a bar fight, but claims that she's not just chaos.
Ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba.
What an episode. A lot happened in this episode. We have been recording forever.
I know, I like have to pee so bad.
Right, I'm like, I got dinner waiting for me.
Dude, the fact that this episode is almost an hour and 40 minutes that we've been recording.
Listen, we had a lot to catch up on, and
we really
this
did.
Is a great episode. Season 5 is a very solid season right up until the end there. Yeah. I don't know what else there is to say about this episode.
We talked enough about it.
It does kind of speak for itself a little bit.
We talked so long.
Yeah, like it leaves off at a good note, like a happy, fun note, and like it sets us up for what everyone's dealing with in the next coming of weeks. It's summertime. Everyone has a job. Debbie has problems. Carl's on crutches. Fiona got a bunch of men going after her.
So sorry for making you all wait for so long, but we did make this episode really fucking long to make up for it.
Right.
Yes, indeed. So you can listen to us be crazy.
And I can't express enough how much your hosts now need to eat and pee.
Oh my god, I'm so hungry, dude.
So we are going to rush on out of here, but we are very, very excited for the rest of the season.
It's good to be back, you guys.
It's so fun to be back.
It's good to be back. Yeah, we needed that little break. It's good to be back. It's summertime.
Now that it's actually going into summertime, we'll have more free time to record the episodes for you guys.
Oh my god, it feels so appropriate.
That's another reason I think I want to wait until June, so it'll be like summer. It's summertime.
That'd be really fun.
All right, everybody. Let's call it a night. Let's get out of here. Follow us on all the things. Do we even have to say it anymore? Follow the Luck We Had Pod on Instagram, Twitter. Email us luckwehadpod@gmail.com.
You know where to find our Instagrams. Look out for new stickers on the Luck We Had. We might have some iridescent holographic gay looking stickers coming out soon. Maybe not.
Some sexy stickers.
And by might, we mean we do.
We do. Yeah, they're coming out soon. So just keep an eye on the Instagram.
All of our socials will be linked down in the description of the episode. Follow us on all the things, and it's good to be back.
It is good
It's
to be
good to be
back.
back.
I'm taking
so
a picture
excited.
for our podcast Instagram right now of myself with the mic.
Like,
Loveliest
oh,
picture
listeners,
ever.
also, I didn't get to tell you guys I'm wearing my Gallaghers shirt tonight on our episode.
I'm wearing my Luck We Had shirt. Still available.
I'm not wearing a shirt. I'm not branded. I'm in a white tank top.
It's okay. You designed.
I am
brand.
wearing flannel though.
The
I'm
brand
wearing
sticker.
flannel for Ian.
Very Ian of you.
The most character
It's so
ever.
true.
All right, everybody. Until next time. That's it. We're done. We're getting out of here. Goodbye. Goodbye.
Goodbye. We love you.
Bye.
Hit us up if you need to.